Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. It is the last day of March 2025. Today happens to be a public holiday. So happy Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there. And may this season bring more favor to the country. May it bring more favor to you as a person. And of course, may it bring more favor to us as Nigeria. May it bring us to a point where unity is the only way that we understand as the way forward. As that's the truth. That's only what we have to get us to the destination that we need to get to. Unity is what will take us there. Okay, over the weekend, so many things went on right here in Nigeria, in different parts of Nigeria. And of course, those are some of the things that will be on the front pages of the papers this morning. And you can always be a part of the conversation if you reach out to us on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109, or you can reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. And of course, we're on social media, all the social media platforms you can imagine. We're on X, FKA Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok at iImpact1021 FM, we're on Facebook at iImpact Radio 102.1 FM, that is HI Impact 102.1 FM. On YouTube, iImpact 102.1 FM. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the notification button so you can get to know whenever we are live right here in the studio. So it's time for us to move to the papers, and we will be starting with the Punch newspaper. The Guardian, I beg your pardon, this morning. And the Guardian leads with this one. High interest rates choke real sector as banks break 1 trillion naira profit threshold. You find that story at page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. High interest rates choke real sector as bank break 1 trillion naira profit threshold. Page 6 of the Guardian is where you will see that story this morning. I don't think that can be overemphasized. High interest rates, Nigeria currently run at a double-digit interest rate, and it is crazy. It is crazy, and we've always said from the get-go that no economy, especially a starting one that wants most people to invest in it. Because look at the startups. So many have closed up in recent years. Companies have left the country. Ease of doing business is way too high. And so when you have an interest rate at double digits, man, it is quite expensive to maintain. And that is what, this headline is talking about this morning. Above the big headline today, we see this one, Eid al-Fitr. Tinubu Sultan preach love amid calls for well-being, better governance. You find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Tinubu airs Okpebholo's education reforms. That one is on page 3. NCDC activates level 2 response as Lassa fever kills 18. That story you find on page 3. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, I will share with authorities evidence of theft under Fubara, says Nweke. You find that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning, and that's the much we can take for the Guardian. From the Guardian straight to the Punch newspaper this morning. The Punch leads with this one today. It says lynched travelers. CDS squad goes after killers as Okpebholo consults governors. You find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. It has one rider to that story. 14 arrested as governor suspend security corps boss illegal vigilante groups. 14 arrested as governor suspend security corps boss illegal vigilante groups. You find a picture on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning where the president as well as other Muslim faithfuls are alongside the vice president, having their prayers at the National Praying Ground in Abuja. We have pictures here also in Lagos and also in Kwara State, for the Eid al-Fitr prayers this morning. That is what the Punch newspaper is leading with. Underneath that big picture, Obasa pursues suits against Miranda lawmakers despite Tinubu's intervention. You find that one on page 8. Obasa pursues suits against Miranda lawmakers despite Tinubu's intervention. Beside it, NCDC heightens surveillance as Lassa fever kills 118. Huge numbers, if you ask me. Huge numbers. 118. Man, crazy. Page 8 is where that story is. So in case you want to get all of the details, you need to go get that one to find out. Beside it, or your wage bill now 24 billion naira monthly. That's according to Makinde. That story you find on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper this morning, Rivers FG awaits service of PDP governor's suit. You find that story on page 9 of the Punch today. Petrol price to rise more as Naira for crude talks wobble. Petrol price to rise more as Naira for crude talks wobble. You find that story on page 33 of the Punch this morning. World Bank to approve Nigeria's $632 million loan request today. $632 million loan request to be approved by the World Bank today. Page 34 of the Punch newspaper is where you will find that story. A huge amount. In as much as we say the government takes so much loan, takes so many loans and all of that, it's not a bad thing, It's not a bad thing to take loans. I've always been of the opinion, and I think generally the world has always been of the opinion that there's no country in the world who somewhat do not take loans. But the question is, how are these loans utilized? That's the major question. How are these loans utilized? Are they utilized for the good of the average Nigerians? Are they utilized to make sure that the Nigerian economy gets better? Are they utilized for the main purpose at which the loan was collected in the first place? If that's what's done, then hooray! It's beautiful to pick up a loan, but if that is not what we get, and probably somewhere, somewhat, just as that's been alleged in previous years and in previous loans, that it's been squandered and it's siphoned by a certain group of people, and the dividends of democracy is not felt by the people with the loan that was taken, then what's the use? It's just a situation of a few people enjoying the benefits that will be accrued. The loans, because it's going to be accrued on the people at the end of the day. So it's just going to be a few people enjoying the benefits of a loan accrued on every single person, every single Nigerian. So it's really important that when these loans are taken, they are being used for what they say it's going to be used for. It's only at those points that we can say the loans are utilized, that we can say to ourselves that, oh yeah, it's good that these loans were taken, and it's good that these loans are going to be used for what will make Nigeria better. But if we do not get to see that, if we do not get situations where these loans, after being taken, are utilized for the purpose at which it was taken for, then Nigerians are being taken for a ride. We're being cheated, because we'll pay back those loans from our resources. We'll pay back those loans from our taxes and all of that. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it if at the end of the day it is not utilized as well as it's meant to. Finally, on the Punch newspaper this morning, you find this one: Eid al-Fitr. Tinubu, NAS, governors preach peace, please heighten security nationwide. That story you find on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's the much we can take for the Punch.
Away from the Punch newspaper, we have the Daily Trust. And it says right here on the front page, Uromi killings. Families seek justice, share victims' last moments. This is quite a sad one. This is on pages 4 and 5. And we pray that the families will be consoled and comforted during this particular moment. It's quite devastating.
Oh, it is. It is really devastating. This was a killing that went on over the weekend. A devastating one. On the papers, the story says travelers going from one, to back home, hunters, say going back home, and they were lynched. But recent stories also said 14 people have been, arrested. So it's good to know that justice is being served. At least the proper investigation is going on, and hopefully we do not get a situation whereby innocent people are caught in the crossfires. Because when things like this happen, sometimes if the investigations are not, authentic enough, you get to realize that innocent people get to be part of the crossfires, and we hope nothing like that happen at this time. And we hope justice indeed comes to those families that lost their children, their fathers, their cousins, their brothers, their uncles. It's not easy to lose anyone. It's not easy. It's really a sad one.
It is. So yeah, that is what we actually have right here. And then just a little bit of news here with the president in front. Tanita Security Services, just celebrating and all of that. But yeah, that is just the main story that we have right here on the Daily Trust.
Okay, moving on from the Daily Trust straight to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Vanguard leads with a story which we just finished talking about. It's talking about the Uromi killings. And it says here, CDS, CAN, PFN seek justice for victims. CDS, CAN, PFN seek justice for victims. You find that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and it has a couple of riders to that story. We see this one: Sanusi warns Kano youth against reprisal. Kano sends delegation to engage Edo government. Ukpebolo suspends security chief. Perpetrators must face justice. That's according to the rep spokesman. Nigerians should feel safe in all regions. That's according to the Oluwo of Warri. Huge story. I don't think this is one story that is going under anytime soon. It doesn't deserve to go under anytime soon. And so hopefully, like we always hope, justice is served, and we can, go back to being a peaceful nation. And when I mean justice is also served, we also saw videos, over the weekend of people coming out to, claim that you know, perpetrators of things have happened in their communities, and claimed that their action, probably the actions of these people were because of they saw these people with guns, and it was, alleged that they are hunters, so per se, we really there is really so much more, and that's why it's
There
important.
is. It's
Deep investigations are carried out. It's important that those people who are involved, justice is served, but apart from that, let's listen and find out more if there was more to what happened, if this was intentional first and foremost, because we can't have situations where intentional killings are carried out on certain sets of people because of the idea that we have over on certain things, so we can't let
That's not
things
proper.
we can't let things like that happen in the country. It means we can't just openly open our country to chaos. Nobody's safe then, because
There's
everybody's
no
everywhere.
law. Yes.
Everybody's everywhere. So if you think you're safe because you're here, what about your brother? What about your sister? What about your uncle? What about your cousins? So everybody's everywhere. So it's important that we understand that a united country means every Nigerian can be in any part of Nigeria and feel as safe as he can be when he is home. So that is only when you can say, oh, this is a united nation. Does that feel that way for every other person? Does the average farmers in the bush, feel safe when herders come with guns to eat their crops and allegedly kill some? Do they feel safe? Is this some sort of revenge for things that have happened in the past? Or is this just some people trying to take law into their own hands and do what they're not supposed to do? So there's so many things around, when something like this happens. And it's important that investigation is carried out. It's important that the government, get ahead of this. Because we're seeing, Sanusi warning Kano youth for reprisal attacks. We've seen on social media where people actually tweeted and claimed there will be reprisal attacks. So it's bigger than what we than just something that we'll just talk about and think it's done. It's huge.
Very huge.
Is this brewing to something more? Can it brew to something more? Is it possible? It is possible. So it depends on how it is handled at this point. That is what is going to determine so many things when it comes to the Romy killings. And we hope it is handled very, very well. We hope this situation is nipped in the bud and we can move on from it to a more peaceful and a more coexistent nation. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Underneath that story, you see huge pictures of the presentation of Eid al-Fitr greeting card to the president. Here is Wike. You get to see the head of. You got to see Nuhu Ribadu. I'm trying to picture his position now, and it just skips my mind. Tinubu here, the Vice President Kashim Shettima. So National Security Advisor. That is,
Yes.
So.
Same here.
Beside that one, GTCO gross profit by 107.8% to 1.2 trillion naira. The Native Reps Committee recovers 21.4 billion naira from oil and gas firms. Nigeria to pay more for petrol amid domestic dispute, crude price hike. You find that story on page 19. Among all the stories, it's only that one that keeps giving me a heart attack every single time.
No, just take
anytime
it
you talk,
easy.
anytime you
take
talk
it
about an increase, I'm just all
Just
like,
take it
ugh,
easy.
what again?
Just
Not
take it
again,
easy.
not again.
Just take it easy.
We have how many refineries? Why should we be talking about buying crude oil in dollars in Nigeria? Why are we dollarizing our economy? Isn't this what the EFCC is supposed to also be fighting? I remember the EFCC boldly talking against this about organizations, receiving money in dollars instead of naira, payments
Yeah,
for
there was a time we talked about stuff
real
like
estate
that,
companies.
right here.
You go
Even
to
restaurants. We talked about it
restaurants,
here, and they're being paid in dollars.
And now we're saying, for goodness sake, this is making national news. It's like it's a major story. The NNPCL shutting crude for naira talks. I don't understand. What other means should Nigerian refineries be buying crude in Nigeria from the NNPCL in.
I feel things like this should really be looked into and talked about.
It should not be heard. It's not even a matter of being looked into. Things like this should not even be heard in the first place. There should have been
a particular currency that
to
we
get
are
me.
using.
There should
So
have been.
why are we doing the exchange? Because we are taking it outside.
Oh my God! There should have been no situation in Nigeria that would foresee a reason, no situation at all, that would foresee a reason why Nigerian refineries will be buying crude oil from a Nigerian national petroleum facility in another in Nigeria in another currency. There is no reason at all. There's no. It shouldn't have started in the first place. It has no business. There's no discussing it. It's not even something that should have risen up in a meeting for discussion. Like, if someone has rose it up in a meeting for discussion, that person should have been sacked naturally.
I mean, even if they actually say, okay, it's because we are taking it there. Well, you can
I
do
don't
it
care.
there.
I don't care. You're not
You can
taking
do
it
it
anywhere.
there, but
Dangote Refinery is right here in
not
Lagos.
Here.
Dangote Refinery is right here in Lagos. I don't know where you're taking it to. If you're taking it out of Nigeria per se, probably you want people out of Nigeria to buy it, and they're buying it in dollar. I don't even like it in the first place. I think if countries want to patronize us, they should patronize us in our currency. I don't care. Bring more. But yeah, I do understand the need for forex and all of that. Okay, yeah, that could work. But Nigerians buying things in Nigeria in another currency,
It's
for me, that's treason.
that's I'll say that's quite a lot.
Personally, I think that's a treasonable offense. Personally, because you can't do that. It is wrong. It has no business. We shouldn't be discussing it. Like, the reason that we're discussing it, it's a crime, a huge one.
I mean,
How
honestly, I
would
think
we
this
do
is-
that?
This is going to be a really good question to even ask our analysts when they come in, because
Man,
I would really want to hear their take on it.
man. Anyways, underneath that one, 2027, Wike's good works will give APC victory in FCT. That's according to Tinubu. Beside that one, but I just missed something now.
Rivers Sole Administrator.
Nah. Wike's good works will give APC victory in FCT. I thought Wike is in the PDP. Okay, let's move on. River Soul administrators dismantling Fubara structure. PDP alleges. You find underneath that one, Tinubu wrong to release Rivers allocation to Soul administrator. This is according to a retired judge. Above the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Vanguard Personality of the Year award will make me work more. That is according to Adedeji Adeleke. 118 die of Lassa fever in Q1 of 2025. That's according to the NCDC. 118 Lassa fever. This is the first quarter. The first quarter ends today. So in just 3 months, 118 people has died of Lassa fever. I think that is an emergency. That is a huge emergency. It's something that should not be taken easy, not be taken lightly at all. It's huge and it needs to be looked into. Although, the Vanguard, the NCDC actually says it is on level 2 response at the moment when it comes to Lassa fever. I just hope level 2 means making sure that it comes to an end. Finally, on the Vanguard newspaper, just one more story. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi governors can preach peace, unity, tolerance in this Eid al-Fitr. And finally, on the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper, tragic news, really tragic. Nigerian boxer dies in Ghana during boxing bout. Really sad one. Saw the videos all over social media when he collapsed. Man, he's a former national champion, an amazing boxer that is, and that is a real gem which we have lost in the boxing industry. May God rest his soul and grant his family the fortitude to bear the loss.
Amen.
That's the much we can take for the Vanguard this morning, and of course we'll go on a short break, and when we come back we will be talking to our in-house analyst in person of Barrister Abdul Hamid as we discuss some of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us. Don't go nowhere. It is your urban lifestyle station, High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. We will be right back.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production,
giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together.
The democracy has not given us peace, but we must tinker with our democracy.
I'm upset with my friend that came before me.
Oh.
Yes, I listened to him and he shocked me by turning things upside down.
But can I say something? Realize that we all have a right to our opinions. Yes.
Course, yes.
So that's his opinion.
This is On Record, where every word matters.
Then we avail you, our listener, the opportunity of calling into the program to ask questions from our guests on the topic for the day.
Join us as we discuss topical issues from 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Mondays to Fridays.
On Record, where every word matters.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the newspaper review where we analyze all of the stories that made front page on the dailies this morning. In case you're just joining us, well, you've missed the first half of the show. It's time for us to connect with our in-house analyst in person of Barrister Abdulhamid. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
it's nice to be with you.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Happy Eid al-Fitr to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I appreciate that. And also extend my greetings to all Muslim, what's it called?
Faithfuls.
Practitioners. Happy Eid Mubarak.
Okay, may the season bring us joy and favor, and of course, may the season make Nigeria a better place.
Amen.
Moving straight to it, I will be starting first and foremost with the issues going on in Rivers State. We saw over the weekend when the former head of service in person of Nweke came out and he read a speech claiming he has proof to the atrocities committed by his employer, which happened to be the suspended governor Siminalayi Fubara. Also talked about discussions that were had in means of why the National Assembly was destroyed in Rivers State, plans of how the gas facilities were destroyed. We also saw Siminalayi Fubara come out with his own proof of the former HOS wanting to money paid for loyalty, WhatsApp messages and all of that, and he claimed that whoever that he was coerced to come out to say all those things he was saying, and all of it was a lie. Is this another chapter of the Rivers crisis that we didn't expect to see? Because this is a huge accusation coming from the head of service. This was someone who worked under the governor.
That's a new drama from Rivers State, but I want to look at it and see whether or not I'm not saying the man is correct, the man is not correct. But I have my doubts, and I have my suspicions on all the things he says. There are contradictions in what he said, and the way and manner it was presented show clearly that it's been delegated. That's my own opinion. Because all those things he said, he can say without reading any book. Because these are the things within his knowledge. And if a man has watched his video when he was granting interview without any paper, he flatly expressed that himself when he was elogizing the governor, when he was praising the governor of having done well and having done what other predecessors, his predecessors have not done. When he was saying those things, he was not reading any paper. And if you look at what he said, there are contradictions. The man said he resigned voluntarily, and in the part of the briefing, he also said that was the reason why I was removed. You get my point. So I don't know how that gel. And this man, you want to travel to Abuja, you have a wife, you have family. You did not explain to them what you are going to do. You did not even tell them you are traveling anywhere. Could that be? I don't know. There are a lot of suspicion for me. And secondly, I see the man being used to just create in the political hierarchy. Head of service. I'm not sure it's that close to the governor. I'm not sure when they are discussing a political issue, because it's not a politician. It's considered as what's it called?
A civil
servant. So I don't know how he will be involved in such meeting that he talks about that he was there, this and that, this and that. I have my doubts on all the things he said. He's trying to create more. Probably they are looking for more way of roping the governor. You see, we still have. Let's just buy our popcorn and hold it tight, and because it's going to be a longer drama. I am predicting from my own, except something has changed. I don't see. I'm thinking the 6 months to be extended. That's my thinking. Except that there are some other things that today I'm talking about today. And that is the reason why all this is happening, so that they will want to bring more issue on it. And then for me, as far as I'm concerned, the whole state of emergency declaration in Rivers State, as far as I'm concerned, and the removal of the governor and the political elected officers, as far as I'm concerned, they are not in line with the constitution. They are all illegality as far as I'm concerned, and that is why whatever that state that has been taken in the state today by the administrator will definitely be considered as illegal. Not that one, because it will look absurd. It will not look. People will question it because of it, and because you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. The man is not standing on legality. As far as I'm concerned, I am one of those who believe that what happened in Rivers State is not even enough to declare a state of emergency. That's not to say that the president don't have the power to declare a state of emergency. He has the power to declare that. What I don't agree with is that whether or not the president has the power to suspend all elected officers. I've combed all the law that I know. I've not seen anywhere where the president was given that power to be able to remove elected officers in the state. We are in the federal system of government, and then now the president who fought the military is indirectly bringing a military back into our system. It's such reality as far as I'm concerned. And unfortunately, we're not doing anything. We're not going to do anything. We're not doing anything. And I see that this as a way of testing water. If this one can pass, I tell you, more bigger can pass. The man, I think as far as I'm concerned, I have a lot of awe in what the guy said, the head of service. And I see the man being used to achieve a particular purpose.
Okay. Like you said, we'll grab our popcorns and chill to watch what pans out in Rivers State.
It's drama. That is what's going on in Rivers State, not drama. There will be a lot of drama.
Hopefully.
Serious drama. Drama that this one is not like a Nollywood though. That will be a reality. Drama. That is real. Okay. Real life drama.
Okay. This is no fiction then.
No.
Okay. Hopefully, at the end of the day, it's something that pans out to favor the people of Rivers State. Moving from Rivers State straight down to...
I doubt if anything good will come out for the state, because as it is today, the state will be stand still, because the administrator cannot do anything. He has no mandate to do anything. He did not promise anything. He has no plan to do anything. He's just there to spend money, and that's all. I don't see him bring any projects into any progress into the state. I am not aware of they compare about imminent danger and peace. I do not see it that there's no peace in that state. Everything they were going normal. The bomb, what's it called? The pipeline that got bombs or whatever. It's not today in Rivers that we hear that. There's so many pipeline funder, and it is not up to 24 hours. There was no investigation. There's nothing to determine what happened and who did it. And at the end of the day, we were told the owners of the company who owns the whatever said that there was a leakage, and that was why what happened. So for me, like I said, it's just an excuse to just take steps that are not considered, for me, that are not proper and that are not legal.
Okay.
Democracy.
Okay. Moving on to Delta State now, the Uromi killings that happened, a sad one, yes. But that has also caused so many rancor. It has brought, a divide between people. We get to see one corner where people are claiming that that those said people were not what were claimed to be travelers, and some claiming they were more than travelers, but with some saying they were legit travelers and hunters trying to, make their own money. But do you see a situation whereby if this is not handled properly, it can lead to something else? Because on social media, we've seen different posts. We've seen posts where, a particular group accusing another particular group of, trying to incite violence. We've also seen posts where people were claiming reprisal attacks will go on. We've also seen Sanusi warning Kano youth against reprisal attacks. If this is not handled well, in as much as we've heard that 14 persons have been arrested, do you see a situation whereby this might escalate?
I think it's unfortunate what has happened, and it's not normal in the democratic setting. Even in the military setting, it's not normal. You don't just take laws into your hands. Let people admit that these people are truly what they say they are, or what they say they were. Are you the one to punish them? We have law. If everybody is to do this, do jungle justice in the name of we are fighting crime, then there will be chaos in the society. You just target somebody that is your enemy. You just say allege him wrongly, and then boom, it's burnt. I think we should not allow this to happen. And the only way that this will not be allowed to happen is that it's for those people that have been identified in that whatever to be punished for it. This is clear murder as far as I'm concerned. It's clear murder. In fact, gruesome murder for that illegal and unconstitutional murder. Nobody has the right to take anybody's life except as prescribed by the law. I am not aware that the law gave any individual the authority to deal with anybody that they are led to have committed crime. Let them admit that they have committed crime. That's clearly jungle justice, and we can't continue in that manner. And I just pray that it won't cause a pressure attack. And I see Kano State Governor address the people and plead with them not to do that. Because we can't continue in this manner. We cannot. We say we are talking about unity, we are talking about one. And we see ourselves as a different person. I tell you, if those people were to be people that are being identified from those areas, they will likely not face that kind of consequences that they face. So I think it's sad. It's sad reality. And at the end of the day, you remember the Alufo?
Yes.
That's how they were burnt, and then on the allegation that they stole their laptop or something.
Laptop, yes.
At the end of the day, it was discovered that they did not do anything, and they are gone. It was discovered thereafter that they were not there. They were not the one. They did not commit any crime in that regard. So, and that is the issue here. You see, and that's why in our law, the law prefers that 10 people go scot-free. Innocent people who have committed crime should go free than kill one innocent man. Okay, and that's why you see system give that benefit of doubt to the accused whenever he's facing trial, and that is as little as tiny like this. That in that case, they will give it in favor of the accused person, because it's better to to hear on the right path than to hear on the wrong path. So as far as I'm concerned, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Really unfortunate.
And it should not be encouraged at all.
Definitely. Unfortunate situation, and the only way we can get out of such situation is until we really understand that we are a united country. And
we can't say because we lack trust in our system, and then they begin to take laws into our hands. What do you see? You see a lot of issues in the country. But so many people will just allege anybody wrongly. If you are envy of somebody, you just create one anything, and then you see people will just burn him or burn it out down.
Sad one. Another unfortunate, circumstance at which we face at the moment is the situation whereby there are rumors that there might be a price hike of fuel, and this has to do with the fact that Naira for crude talks are stalled. And I want to start from one extent. While I was, talking on the paper review itself, I personally see it as some sort of treasonable offense for us to have a situation whereby in our own country, we are buying things in another currency, more or less buying from the National Petroleum Company Limited itself. Should we be having a situation where we are discussing if we are buying crude oil for Naira or dollar in the first place?
It's unfortunate that those who are supposed to be in the forefront of promoting our Naira are the ones that are encouraging the dollar in our society. It's not only in that aspect. Even there are rumors, there are allegations of exchange of dollars within political gladiators to do one thing or the other. So if you continue to do that and you are making and you are claiming, how can you be in a country and then you expect that foreign currency will be the dominant notes that will be used in that country? You are degrading your own notes and promoting a foreign note. And that's why you see issue with our dollars. That's why our dollar is not coming down. Naira is falling every time. So for me, it's not good. And it will have consequences on the people of the country. And that you see, there's no way you will see somebody like Dangote, for instance, now try to buy crude with $1 somewhere, and he wants to sell. He will sell based on that exchange rate. It will not sell based on. So it doesn't make any sense for me as well, and it's not promoting any good in our country. It's only affecting negatively our economy. I think the government is not doing enough in this regard. The government is not doing well because if you want that situation to happen, you want to encourage people to do more business in dollar than our Naira. And bearing in mind that it's even easy. When I say easy, that in quotes, to handle millions of dollars is very, very easy than handling millions of Naira. And people will even prefer to do that. As far as I'm concerned, there is no law that says that in any transaction in Nigeria must be in Naira, not dollar. You can't go to US now and say because we are buying and we are from Nigeria, we are using Naira. They won't take it from you. So why must we allow that to happen in our own country? Why must we say our products must be sold in dollar to another Nigeria? As far as I'm concerned, it's unfortunate.
I also want to say something. We've seen the EFCC come out to speak against this particular situation. They spoke against it in the real estate sector. They spoke against it in the food chain sector, which we've seen things like this happen. There have been reports houses are being bought in dollars. There have been reports you go to restaurants, you are being asked to pay in dollars, which the EFCC openly came against and actually even took some people to court on that particular situation. We saw a guy who was actually taken to court by one real estate company, and the EFCC actually went to fight for him because of the whole dollar situation. And now we're seeing this on the national news between the NNPCL and other refineries. Shouldn't there be a part where the EFCC play to make sure that doesn't happen?
That partial or ineffectiveness of the EFCC in those areas or discriminatory application of law is one of the reasons why we are where we are today. EFCC are fond of looking other way when it is for people who are associated with government, especially government in power. They look other way. They pretend as if they are not aware. Even ordinary money spraying. You see people who are big men doing this same thing. You will not see them arrest anybody. Then you see one celebrity whom they have one thing or the other against, and you see them pounce on that person. So the inability of our security agencies not to be partial is one of the reasons why the country is what it is today. Our laws are being enforced in breach, with partiality or discrimination. Justice, and if you are doing that, there is no way you can progress. Certain people are seen as above the law. Certain people are being considered as untouchable when it comes to enforcement of law. So if we have security agencies who will implement the law without fear of favor, without looking at anybody's eye, without looking at your eyes, Ute. You know, on the street they say, "Why would do Ute?" So if you are not looking at Ute's eyes, then what they do is they look at Ute's eyes all the time. Ute, you are very powerful.
I'm telling you.
They move away and they turn somewhere else. So if they can enforce their law and the law without looking at anybody's eyes, without being partial, we'll get it right. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The case is that people have been treated differently, especially when you are closer to the government, when you are seen as an associate or a government person or government agency or whatever. You see them not do the right thing. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And that is why the country is not moving. Rule of law are not being respected. Rule of law are being applied discriminatorily. And in a country where you discriminate, when you are implementing your law, you get inconsistency in your behaviors or in the behavior of the people. For me, it's unfortunate that EFCC has failed in that regard, in not being partial.
Oh, quite sad, but it's a fine way for us to leave it this fine morning. Your final thoughts before we go, sir?
My what?
Your final thoughts before we go.
Yeah, what I want to say is that, look, Nigerians, this is our country. We have the responsibility of holding government into account. And until we play that role very well, we may not be able to get what we are looking for. We are too quiet. We are too peaceful. And I'm not saying we should be violent. I'm talking about when I say peaceful, we endure and accept illegality in any way. So exactly when it comes from people in government or the government itself, we have the responsibility of asking questions and asking for transparency. We do enough. If we do enough, the government will do the right thing. We have been told that we're in a situation whereby there's a problem when the government don't even fear people again. And we are seeing that premise here now. And like I said the other time, if you allow the government to continue this illegality they are doing, I tell you, more than what is happening in River State may happen to us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And that's the fine way for us to leave it this morning. I want to say a very big thank you for joining us this morning. Till you next week, it will be nice to have you again to discuss about the happenings in Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, until Nigerians begin to speak up, until Nigerians begin to understand that it is their own role as citizens to hold the government accountable, then nothing will happen. Until the government are scared of the citizens, then the government won't be forced to do nothing. Once they know you have power over them and they understand that you know your power which you have over them, that is when they begin to respect you. But until the citizens themselves know the power they hold, they will continue being the ones at the other end of the divide, because now it's the politicians that are having all the fun.
I actually saw, now that you mentioned this, I actually saw a post yesterday, when you're scrolling through social media, and it just brought to mind during the times you always see all of this. And it was a class, like a lecture room, with students, maybe about, let's say, like 8 of them. And then the lecturer just spot a particular girl, and he says, she should go out. And she was shocked, like, why? Like, did I do something wrong? She didn't even ask why. Did I do something wrong? And the mom was like, no, but you need to leave my class. And, she left. And after a few pauses, he just mentioned that, why didn't any of you, like he was talking to the classmates, that why didn't any of you say something when I asked that do you believe that I treated your classmate unfairly? And they said yes. Then why didn't you mention something? Why didn't you say something? And all of them were quiet. And they were asking them, what is, he asked them a simple question, what is, justice? And, they were all responding, and he was just saying that this is exactly how the society is. When you know something is wrong, you speak for one another, but everyone is always like, oh, it's none of my business, it's none of my business. Why? It's because you are not affected directly. But if you were, probably you would say something. So, when you just mentioned it, it just brought to mind what actually happened. It's just a perfect example.
When you see something, say something. Yeah, that is not affecting you today doesn't mean it will not affect you tomorrow. An illegality that touches someone else today, you say, cooking shame, doesn't mean it might not happen to you. It might not be in that same form. It might be in some other form.
Indirectly.
But it will touch everybody. That's just the truth about it. So when you see something, you should say something. Until Nigerians understand the fact that it's the citizens, that's where the power resides. The power resides with the citizens. Until they understand that and take their power back, they won't get the dividends of democracy that they are looking for. I've never seen anyone that they fix sugar in his mouth that spits it out. Or honey, by the way. It depends. Sweet things is always loved and is always kept. And if you want to take it back, you have to fight for it. Take that information as as you want it. You have to fight for it. It's not going to be taken easily. It's not going to be, just given back to you. You need to own your power and use your power the right way to get exactly what you want. Is how we call it a day on today's edition of the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the last day of March. Woo! April next. Okay, I'll see you on the 1st of April, guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Happy Eid al-Fitr.
Exactly. Happy Eid al-Fitr. And the Morning Impact show continues. I'll be here with you from the hours of 12. So yeah, just get ready. We have more music, information, gist, and lots more just waiting for you. Do take care.